Hey, I thought I would do a top down. There were some questions about one, so I thought, hey, why not? So this is a completely empty scene. There's absolutely nothing in here, right? So the first thing we need is a character to move around. So I'm just going to grab a character somewhere, preferably a shooting style looking one. I guess it doesn't have to be a shooting style. But hey, that's what we'll go with. So there is our player. And I'm going to tag them as a player and put them on the player layer. Just because that's the way I do things. I'm going to give them... I don't know what the hell all that was. Oh, jeez. Mouse has gone crazy. Character controller and a FSM. And I'm going to bring the camera over. Like that. Alright, so on this guy, we need a movement. So there's kind of two ways to do this. And since I have the animations, I'll probably do it the better way, I think. I'm also going to make a folder for this. So we need, first thing we need is some sort of animator. And drag that over there. We'll even use root motion. Why not? So our animator has absolutely nothing in it. Alright, so we would need a horizontal, and we need a vertical. And for future use, I'm going to put this in and say stance. And there's numerous ways to do that. So I'm just going to create a blend tree, and we're going to call this one locomotion. And inside this guy is going to run a 1D based on stance, and we're going to do a blend tree and another blend tree, and 0 and 1. That's fine. So this guy can be our unarmed, and this one could say be our rifle. So in this one, we're going to do freeform Cartesian, vertical, and horizontal. And we're just going to add a whole whack of slots here. Zero all those out because they annoy me. We'll need more than that, but so where did I just see it? Oh, right there. So if I look into I should check to see if my volume's even on. Oh, it is. Okay. Did that one on the last ones and it was stupid. So here we have just a basic idle. We're standing there. So this is supposed to be our unarmed tree. And if we want, we could extend this and do a crouch version too. And I would literally just add it on to here. So you'd have stance, vertical, horizontal, and crouch, kind of 0 to 1. You'd come over here, and then you would do crouched, and then your stances. So you just blend everything all together. So we have a walk, and that's a vertical. We'll say 1. Oh no, actually we'll go 0.2 or 0.5. And what else? I don't think I'll do turnings. I think I'll do strafings. but we need a run. And strafe left, strafe right. So that's say negative 0.5, 0.5. And what else do we need? Well, we need it backwards. And we need a run backwards. And we also need a run left, run right. Yeah, lots of animations to blend with, eh? So then we have this stuff here. So this is a run strafe left 45. So we're just going to say 1 because it's a forward, negative 1 because it's a left. And this one's the same thing but going backwards. Run strafe right, and 1 and negative 1. And what else we got here? We have a normal strafe left and strafe right. So these are walking versions. And that's a 0.5. I just happen to know, like if it's a 45 degree, you're going kind of forward. If it's negative 135, you're going backwards. And then left is negative, right is positive. If you're kind of curious, and I've also done this a lot. So what else do we have? I feel like I'm missing some stuff here. All right, because we're missing these two. So we need a run left 45. See, this one doesn't have any strafing in it, so it's not going to be in those ones. The additional run start. Strafe left, no, but we do need a strafe right. So that's a backwards and a right side. Oh, we already have that? Negative 0.5, 0.5. No, we don't have that. Okay, well then that should be, could have sworn that would have gone right around here. But I guess it went up there. I'm just looking at it backwards, I suppose. So we still need this one. So that is, well, if that's a strafe right, then that's a backwards left. Strafe left. We need the 135 at this guy. You could always reverse them as well. But I should have a full set here. There is walk, or crouch walk, I suppose. Alright, so we need okay, so we have the idle walks, strafe, strafe, walk, run that way. We have run left forward, more or less, run left backwards. So we need to run right well, that's all four of those right here. Okay, yeah, no, we have four. It's just the walk one. Okay, in the walk ones we have strafe left backwards, strafe right back and forth, strafe right forwards, strafe right forwards. Well, let's just do a search. So we need a strafe left. There's a 45, but it's on the rifle. Okay, right there. So that's a 0.5, negative 0.5. There we go. So, and as you see now, I can play with these. Oh, kind of messed something up there. So vertical, we got backwards. I don't know why that's a walk and that's a run. And vertical, forward, and okay, so if I remember, I think one of these animations was actually backwards. So okay, walk, run, left is horizontal there, right is positive, walk, run, run left, run right. So forward, left, backwards, left, forwards, right, backwards, that should be there, left, backwards, forward, and right, backwards, yeah, and okay, so okay, I think it was just that one I messed up on. Yeah, it looks a lot better. So now you can see this little guy, he's working the way we want him to work. So that's the unarmed, right? Pile of things. And then you can come down here and literally do the exact same thing. Of course, now as you've seen, we need a pile of animations. So I'll just zero those off a bit. Good enough. So rifle. Rifle. There it is. Animations. So here we have idle. We have the looks, the bursts, there's the strafes. So we have strafe, and I'm going to stick these down here. So that's a normal walk, so that's a forward, so 0.5, negative 0.5. Strafe left is 0, but negative 0.5. Strafe right, but backwards. Strafe right. The turns. So walk backwards. Walk forwards. A run backwards. A run forwards. And what's this? We have a strafe run. We're going forward and left. And we're going backwards and left. We're just going left. Just going right. Oh, happen to have 0.5 there. Handy. And this one's backwards. Forwards. And there, and we only need one more. And this guy's going to be what? That's what he needs to be to fill that out. So that is a running backwards right, which is run strafe run, and that was a backwards right. So it would be one of these, a right, but there is none. Yet I have two of these. Interesting. Funny how one goes one way, one goes the other. That one looks like a right. Oh, let's use that one. Alright, so the same idea. I can now hit play. Oh, and I, for some reason, didn't put that in. That's horizontal and vertical. Oh, we have an issue there. We have an issue on that guy. So that is, what was that? The -1, -1. This guy. Oh, I grabbed the wrong one. Out of those two that I could have grabbed, I grabbed the wrong one. So, strafe run. It was this one I needed. I can actually, well, no, I can't just rename it, I guess. It's the bottom one, not the top one. Oh, that is going left. That one's technically right. It's this one here. Alright, so one of these has to change. So left, that's fine, right? Because he's, no, horizontal. So this guy needs to change, because this guy is doing the exact same thing as this guy, but this guy at least has the right inputs. So I could just do a mirror, right? That's, oh no, that's not going to let me do it. Should. Alright, so strafe backwards, strafe run. He's in diagonals, he's in additionals. So we have this guy, and he is going right. That's the one that's going right. The one in the additionals is going right. No, the one in additionals is going left. Or no, he is going right. Oh, how am I messing this up? And the diagonals, he's going left. Unless I got that up here all messed up. Okay, so we have our fake right. So he's fine. Left, right, strafe, right. Okay, let's just start from the top. We have idle, we got walk backwards, walk forward, run backwards. So strafe left, forward, strafe left, strafe right, backwards, strafe right, run forward, running left, forward, running backwards, left, run right, strafe left, backwards, strafe right, forwards, Okay, so our verticals seem fine up here. If we come down towards midpoint, that all seems fine. He's fine going right. Backwards. It's literally just this one guy here. The backwards left on the run, which is these guys. But I don't know, I've checked those. Right, because that's that one. So this one we need, what, -1, -1. So this guy here, jeez. Let's just bring this up. So we have, he's going that way, which is him. Alright, that's obviously not a good fix because that's just totally messed that up. So let's stick him back. Why? Strafe, run, backwards, left, loop. It's definitely that one. So like horizontal's fine. It's when you get here and he turns supposed to go in this way. It's a -1, -1. And he should be running like away from the camera. Which in the animation it is. Alright, so Y that's just so weird. Unless there's something wrong with this animation itself. So let's just cheat for a minute until I can figure that out. Strafe run left. Oh, there's still something wrong. Oh, it's not the animation then. Alright, well, okay. I guess I'll have to figure that out. So we have a strafe run. Or where's our strafe left? This guy. I wonder if he's blending into it. It's just a... maybe that one's backwards. Nope, see that one's fine. I don't know, maybe it's just fine. I don't know. Whatever. We'll take a look at it later, I suppose. So anyways, we need a way to control all of that, obviously. Right? So, I mean, we have our stance and we have our horizontal and vertical. So you could get axes relative to, now this is where you have a few options. I'm going to use the camera. We're going to store a vector and we're going to store the magnitude. So this is where things kind of get a little different, right? So if we have him, if I push forward, okay, so here, like if I'm pushing forward, you're getting the Z, right? If I turn him over this way, I'm still getting Z. And I don't want that. Right, because if we well, more or less, okay, I'll show you. Inverse transform direction. So if we take this, stored as my local, we should start seeing a much different picture, where pushing forward gives me the 1 on the Z, but if I turn this way, I now have a -1 over here, and instead, like it's a 1Z coming in, but it's not on my local. See? So get vector XYZ my local, the X, and the Z. Alright. Set animator. Need 2 of those. Drag them down to the bottom. So this guy can be vertical. And he can be the Z. This guy can be the horizontal. And he can be the X. So we're facing that direction and it moves just fine. I see there's, oh, it was with the rifle that was all messed up. And if I rotate him 90, I push forward, and he's going up on the thing, but he's strafing the proper direction. So it doesn't matter which way I face him. He's technically moving in the same direction no matter what, but his animations are playing correctly because we've inversed it. Makes it very, very smooth, much nicer looking. To me, anyways. Now, you might also want to add in something like this. What else? So we need a way to rotate him. So the character himself. How should we do that? Let's have the character follow the mouse. Sounds pretty good. So let's have a looking system. And in here, all we're going to do is we'll do a mouse pick. And we are going to do, we should do a layer mask, but I'm not going to this very second. And that's going to be in every frame. So we want the owner, that goes to none, use hit point, vertical, sure, tolerance, there we go, pretty simple. That's the other thing we should do. We should, on the camera, with this style, you almost could just do the follow, but it kind of depends if you want the camera to turn or not. Right? Like if we do distance, I don't know, 3 and then height of 10, see how that looks. Yeah, of course it's rotating because it's always trying to stay behind. Okay, so we don't want to do that. So let's get position of our player. Every frame. Vector 3 add XY, we want to add to the player position, say a -3 and a 10 every frame, but not per second. So that kind of gives us now an offset. And then we need to move. Maybe we should do move towards. Alright, I think we should move that camera around a little bit though. This can probably go to like a 5. No, let's take this guy to 12 and 7. Alright, I think 7 was a little much. Just 6. Alright, so there we have a decent thing now. Alright, so there is a basic movement system with the camera and looking at the mouse. So what about picking up an item? So, for example, let's have a weapon. Shotgun looks better. So if I expand him out, let's just do a full expand, and right hand. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit play, and I'm going to force the stance up. And I'm going to take this rifle. I'll probably pause it for this. Now the one nice thing about top down is you really don't need to worry about IK too much, or really being absolutely perfect with this, because, well, the camera's that far away. It's not that easy to be like, oh well, it's not quite sitting in his hand perfect, right? It's fairly easy to get away with a lot of stuff. It's a very forgiving way to do a controller. But that's pretty decent. So copy, take it out, and paste. Alright, so let's force this up, see how this looks. See, now we have that one little issue, I think, with that backwards right. But with it all, I'll figure that part out. So let's go back to our player and arming. So I am going to make this thing a variable. Actually, I should almost put it into an array. Yes. Okay, so first, so we kind of know where we are at. Not that I have any images, I don't think, of actual guns. I guess I can use numbers. That's half decent. Not ideal, but it will work. So canvas, the other thing I want to do is make that constant. Let's stick him up, I don't know, here. Normally I think I would have an image of, you know, a gun or something, but this will be a good interpretation. So let's go 2 and 3. Alright, so if we had 3 slots, now we would need our do a current slot. We should make those buttons. So let's add a button component. And we can even have it so when it's pressed, I don't know, it turns dark green. Sure, why not? Okay, so they don't have to be buttons because we're actually going to use the alpha pad. So get keys, get key down. I think there's a multiple one on ecosystem. So we're going to use alpha 1. Set an event called 1, and let's add that. And let's do keypad 2, event 2, keypad 3, event 3. The other thing is I'm also going to do a button array. So we have slot 1, 2, 3, and he'll go 1, 2, 3. So we have 2 ways of accessing that. All right, and if I want to just kind of show you how that kind of looks, I can go like this for now. Right, so if I use the alphas, I'm not getting anything. Those work though. Unless I did. Okay, yeah, so there's, I used the keypad, not the other ones. So there's 1, 2, 3, and I could also use the buttons. But I'm going to switch these from the keypad to the actual alphas. Alpha 2 and alpha 3. So the alphas will put it up top. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so now we have 2 ways we can flick through our stuff. So what if this guy here is our unarmed, I don't know, weapon A and weapon B, not that we have 2 weapons, but call this one rifle, and this one unarmed. So what if we want, what if we want to have an animation for equipping it, right? That's the other thing. Maybe we'll make 3 grenades or something. Yeah, we'll see. So equips. We have equipped rifle and holster rifle. There we go. So maybe to keep this clean, let's just drag them both right in there. And put the exits on. And I think we need a trigger. Equip and unequipped. Then I think it would probably be better to use an integer. So if we say, for example, equipped rifle, and make another transition to holster rifle, and this can have a transition back here. So take off that. This is to holster, so unequipped, and weapon set is not equal 1. Let's go over here. Weapon set equals 1, and we get a equipped. Might be a bit of a better way of doing that, but whatever, it should work. So let's go back into here. So if, and we're not going to want to keep re-equipping, so we need to change that. Right, so, because we could just say, hey, you don't call those and call those into the animator, but if we're already on this, other than having the logic run over here and then have to go back if we hit the button again, it's a possibility too. I like to build it this way though, where we sit here and just run different paths, personally. So we would have to say, okay, we are unarmed. Maybe I'll just use a string. Right. So let's do a string. No, you know what? I'm going to do a bool. Bool test is unarmed. If true and if false. Right, so if we are unarmed, if that's true, then just go back here, don't do anything. If false, set animator int trigger and set bool. I guess we need multiple bools, right? Because int is unarmed will now be true. Trigger will be so that needs to be I hate when this thing doesn't update and give me the quick things. Oh, screw you, system. Screw you. Fine, be that way. So we would need to know where we are at equipment wise before we trigger the unequipped. I mean, we could trigger the unequip, but first we need to set that integer. So we need to set weapon stats to 0. I suppose. And then we need another one of these. Yeah, I don't know, bool. I almost should have just went with the strings. I'm not playing with a whole whack of variables. Just do a string switch, but whatever. This will work. Okay, so false, and then we want to do a wait. I don't know, 1 second's probably fine. Right, so we hit the button, we come in here. If we're not unarmed, we're gonna set all this stuff and be like, okay, we are now unarmed. And what else? We also need set an animator float. We also need our stats to be 0. And then it should be able to just go back over here. And I'm going to delete this guy and just copy this. And of course, he's now checking if we're rifle. So if true, don't do anything, but if false, weapon stats 1. We want the equipped. That's now true. That's 1, and then go back. So we should see now if I hit 1. Okay, we have to default that value. And that one's a little iffy. Okay, so we're starting unarmed, so that needs to be true to start off with. And then I think I'm just going to put a small delay here and move this guy. And take this guy and cut him in half. And when we go this way, we should probably do that same thing. Only now, obviously, to 1. So we should have now, we hit 1, nothing happens because we're already unarmed. We hit 2. We hit 2 and it's apparently instant, but we hit 1 and he puts it away properly. But the 2 is instant. So we go to it and it goes. So let's see what's happening in here. So when we want to equip, we go 1. No exit time, has exit time. Okay, well, apparently right, so if I hit 2, that just goes on and never is not used. Alright, so let's see what's going on there. So, equip. I mean, it is using the right one. Right, like if I take that out briefly. Why is that working, but this one is not? To the equipped rifle. Weapon set. Weapon stance. There we go. I just apparently can't spell. Alright, we have weapon set. So this guy, I did the exact same thing. Weapon set. Him on weapon set. So we pull out the rifle, we put the rifle away. Pull out the rifle, put the rifle away. Alright. So there we have that. How much time do we have? Oh my god, it's almost been an hour. So, because the other thing I was going to do was bring in the shooting. Oh, and well, I guess the other thing we got to do is in this situation, you would also activate our actual weapon. And unactivate them here. Right, which, I mean, timing of that's a little off, so I mean it's a pretty easy fix. I mean, we'll do an animation event to actually fix that up. But for now, it'll temporarily work. So layer wise, I like to make a layer, and then this will have a blend tree, which currently we don't have. Actually, no, we don't even need to do that. I mean, I'm pretty much end the video. I mean, it's been an hour. It was a long time. But I wanted to at least do that. And default state. Actually, I don't want to do that. I'm going to come from the any and then to there. So we would have a trigger, shoot. So this guy, this would be a rifle. So we know a weapon set equals 1 and shoot. Right, so, and I always forget this. The other thing we'd want to do is put a mask on. An upper body one. Right, because now, I mean, everything looks the same. But up here, if I now hit shoot, it doesn't look like it does much at all, but it's probably because the camera's pretty high. Nope, it's just flat out not doing much. Oh, I thought I put the weight up. Lord, 100. Still doesn't look very. Oh, well, that's backwards. I was probably playing with it at some point in time earlier. That's silly of me. Alright, so we go to weapon set 1, doing equipped, we're in stance 1, and crank this thing up again. So there we go. I mean, it doesn't really look like that much. But it is kind of there. So let's let's crank that up so I can stop forgetting about it. And maybe just because it's this one's because the camera's so high, I mean, it might not be a big deal. So if I come into here and then I start saying shoot, the grenade one might be a little iffy. Yeah, I don't think that one's going to be any good either. I think shoot one's just going to have to work. Alright, so we'll fix that up. Whoa, I'm tired. I'll fix that up later. But anyways, we have also look into the animation thing too. But there's so far a basic top-down controller with a guy looking and the camera moving. So anyways, we'll talk to you in the next video.